Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now today we're going to get a little bit into the mood of Halloween, and I'm actually going to share 3 true paranormal stories that have occurred in my life. When I was little, I used to live in New York. I had a bedroom to myself, and I remember I would cry myself to sleep and ask my parents if I could please sleep with them because I was terrified of this room. I didn't like this bedroom. At this time, my grandma lived with us. She would let me sleep with her. There was this one night where my grandma and I were both sleeping in her room. I remember I was really quiet, but I was wide awake and I was terrified because I felt a dark, evil spirit, like it was over me, like he was watching me in my face. I just felt this overwhelming, negative, scary feeling. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to wake my grandma up, so I was just very quiet. And I remember my grandma asked me, "Are you awake too?" And I told her, "I feel something next to me. I feel something really dark next to me." She put her sandal in a cross because she believes that if you feel something negative around you, if you put your sandals or your slippers or whatever you wear around the house in a cross, whatever bad energy is around you or bad spirit, it will go away. So I remember as soon as she did that, as soon as her and I prayed, we didn't feel the dark presence anymore. Sometimes I remember even just playing, and I would be playing by myself in the room and I would get freaked out and I would run downstairs. Here is where things get very spooky. My mom found out that in that home that we lived in, there was an old man that passed away, and he was not very friendly, and his room was my bedroom. If you put 2 and 2 together, he was not very happy that I was in that house, and that dark presence may have been him. Before we get into story number 2, hit the like button if you'd like to see a scary stories video of me looking through Reddit and trying to find really scary stories, which is going to be a nightmare for me. I'm gonna probably sleep with the lights on for a week, but it's okay. I will do it. If you guys hit the like button and let me know, yes, do another scary stories, true scary stories videos, because I don't like scary stories that are not true. It needs to be real life. I was in high school, and at this point I was living in Philly. I had a bunch of things due, and I convinced my mom to let me stay home so that I can work on my assignments. I was home alone. I was working on an assignment. I wanted to take a nap because I was really tired. I left my laptop on my bed, but it was open. Before I continue with the story, I wanted to let you know that during this time, I was obsessed with paranormal. I loved watching horror movies. Everything horror, I was into it. I loved it. Either one, I was so into it that my mind started to play tricks on me, or 2, I was starting to attract spirits because I was opening my mind to that world, because I spent so much of my time being curious about that world. I remember it was daytime and I took a nap. I wanted to wake up and I could not wake up. It felt like my body was frozen or paralyzed, but my mind was wide awake. I felt something was off. Like I felt something dark near me, something hovering me. I started to hear my keyboard, like someone typing on my keyboard. But it wasn't typing like if you're writing an essay and you're typing. It was kind of like if you're playing the piano and you just take all your fingers and you hit the piano with all your fingers. It was kind of that kind of typing, like just smashing the keyboard. And in a way, it felt like whatever was around me was taunting me and kind of making fun of me, like, you're trying to wake up but you can't. and you can't see that I'm here messing with you. Whatever was around me was messing with me and was loving that I was terrified and couldn't move. It took about 2 minutes, and then I finally was able to wake up, and I looked around and nothing was there. When I did some research, apparently I had something that is known as sleep paralysis. I believe there is a scientific explanation to what was happening to me. There's also a spiritual explanation. There is some kind of bad spirit or some kind of demon on top of your body preventing you from moving. After that, Pamela was not watching any more horror movies. I was not reading any more cases. Done. Clearly that was a sign I was doing too much and it was time for me to clock out. No problem. I don't need to read anymore. I don't need to watch movies anymore. I got it. You're real and I'm not doing this. So, clocked out. Now, story number 3 is probably the freakiest one. We moved into this new house. Every time I would wash the dishes or clean at night, so my kitchen, the basement door was in the kitchen. I've always had a thing with that door being creaked open or a little bit open. It always needed to be closed. Even with it being closed, I always felt like there was someone watching me. It wasn't scary. Actually, it was scary. It was creepy. Whatever was watching me, it didn't feel evil or like it wanted to hurt me. It just was there. Like it didn't want to be alone. Even though I wanted to be alone because no thank you. But I wouldn't even want to hear music. Like, you know, usually when you do the dishes, well, at least when I do the dishes, I like to listen to music. At that time, podcast was not a thing. But I did not like putting my headphones in because every time I did, I felt like I heard something. So my grandma comes and visits. And where did she sleep? In the basement. One day I came home from school and she kind of asked me randomly, do you go down to the basement at all? Not really, unless I gotta take the trash out or whatever, because you have to go through the basement to take the trash out in the back. I said not really. I try not to go down there because I don't know, I don't like how I feel when I go down there. And my grandma said that she couldn't really sleep well because she felt something was down there with her. I didn't tell her anything that I just shared with you guys about what I felt while I was doing the dishes. I never said any of this to her. This just came from her out of nowhere. She tells me that she feels like something's with her, like a ghost or a spirit, but it's not mean. It's just with her. I had a hard time sleeping in the basement. So I talked to my sister about it after my grandma and I had this conversation, and my sister said the same thing. Here's where things get creepy. I feel like you see the chills on my body. The cops pull up next to my parents and ask, do you guys live here? And my parents said, you know, yes, we just recently moved here. And the cops kind of looked a little bit odd, and they asked if a woman, and they gave a specific name, if she lived in that house with us. And my parents said no, they have no idea who that is. We actually do get some letters still to the house under her name. The cops looked a little weird and they said that she has been missing, and Bella scared me. My cat scared the out of me. This is why I can't be doing these stories. This lady has been missing. Nobody knows where she is. And she used to live in the house that we were living in at that time. What I think is that something bad happened to her. She passed away, and maybe since they haven't found the body, she was lingering in that house. I will say that about 2 years passed by and that feeling stopped. Like, we would go to the basement and we weren't scared of anything. We didn't feel anything. So we think that they found her and she finally left the house. If you guys have any paranormal stories that you would like to share, please leave them down below. I I know I said I was over the paranormal, but for this month, I like to creep myself out a little bit. So I would love to hear your paranormal, experiences, or things you guys have gone through, or, sleep paralysis, anything. Leave it down below so that everyone can scroll down and read. If I do end up doing a Reddit scary time, if there's a really, really good one in the comment section, I'll include it in those stories as well. I hope you guys enjoyed my stories. I hope it gave you a little bit of a scare. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.